Wisconsin businesses impacted by a lack of snow this winter could be getting some relief.
Governor Tony Evers and U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin announced today that businesses in areas with a drought declaration can get assistance through a federal disaster loan from the U.S. Small Business Administration. News 5 Jeff Alexander joins us in studio to explain that. Jeff.
Bill, both Evers and Baldwin have been advocating for the SBA to confirm the disaster coverage could extend to the mild winter in Wisconsin. Statewide snowfall has been 20 to 30 inches below normal this year, according to the National Weather Service. And when looking at the Lake Superior snow belt in northern Wisconsin, that number is even more significant, measuring in at 40 to 70 inches below normal. That means activities like skiing, snowshoeing, and snowmobiling have dropped dramatically this winter. Local businesses that rely on those activities say it's nice to hear federal assistance is available.
With cross-country skiing, we still want to be relevant. We want that to be a accessible sport for a lot of people. And with a down year, that can't just be the end of cross-country skiing moving forward. So having that to potentially help bridge this gap year is certainly something that we're going to look into.
The new federal loans allow businesses to borrow up to $2 million maximum to cover losses. Now, there is no interest on the loan for the first year, and after that, it's a maximum rate of 4% interest. You can find all the information and how to apply on our website at WBAY.com.